Enter Plymouth Rock's Fenway Field Pass giveaway for a chance to win 4 tickets to a Red Sox game, an honorary grounds crew experience, a pregame VIP tour, and a visit with us in the NESN booth. Visit PlymouthRock.com/Red Sox giveaway to enter. This morning, as we've been telling you, just an incredible day as the 13th annual Run to Home Base took place here at Fenway Park and through the streets of Boston. After a year of a virtual race 2 years ago to kind of a hybrid race last September, we were back in full force, some 2,000 runners out there raising money for the incredible home base program that we've been telling you throughout the day. Becca Sawasser is Executive Vice President of Social Impact, Boston Red Sox, and Executive Director of the Red Sox Foundation. Brigadier General Jack Hammond, Executive Director of the Home Base Program, and Lieutenant Colonel Brian Kitching, a retired Army Ranger. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hope you're not as sore as I am, but that's a story for another day. Becca, we'll begin with you.
Yeah.
What does today mean?
I mean, everything in one word. We spoke about this yesterday, the importance of leveraging the brand, the resources, the platform of the Boston Red Sox to make sure that we can elevate and celebrate the incredible and necessary work of home base is really core to who we are as an organization. And so we're just honored to be partnered with home base and Jack and have Brian here today with his family in making sure that we can do any and everything to get the resources to home base to provide the services that are so desperately needed to our veterans.
Brian, every year we hear amazing stories about the work being done to home base, and I could talk about it all day, but you can tell us what it really means. What does home base mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I wish everyone could have heard what my brother talked about this morning in terms of the quality of care, just the depth that goes into the care at home base. I went through home base in 2014. And it's top notch. It's like nothing you'd ever experience. And so, you know, we've for many years been ambassadors of home base, and it's just been incredible. And you know, as Becca mentioned, this is something that we just need to continue to message and spread the word across the force.
And in full disclosure, your brother spoke, and I'm thinking, thank God he didn't want to be a sportscaster, because I'd be out of a job. Whatever he wants to do, he can do. Really an amazing person, and did such a great job conveying the message you're talking about.
He really did. He really did. And he talked about this equation, this balance, and when we ask service members to do something really difficult around the world, we automatically sign up for the flip side of that when they come home. And so it's so important that we invest in that care, and that's exactly what we're doing here at home base.
And Jack, as you said last night, that hasn't been the case. Before programs like home base, before the private sector stepped in to kind of even out that equation, it wasn't getting done.
Yeah, you know what it is? The problem is the bureaucracies associated with the government and the VA particularly. It's just so outdated. It hasn't evolved with the times. We've got an opportunity just to leverage the incredible resources of the private sector, places like Mass General, Spalding Rehab. You know, if somebody travels across the world to get care, they go to those kind of places, and having access to the best possible care is what Tom's vision was when he created home base. It's not just to have a clinic, it's to have a clinic that provides the best access to the best possible care anywhere in the world.
And when we talk about that, I love what Tom said this morning. It's anybody can have an idea. Taking that idea and putting it into action and then sustaining it. And the Red Sox Foundation has done a really great job of making sure, because so many of these things start up, and through the pandemic, a lot of them were not able to sustain, but you've kept the energy and you've kept the commitment.
Yeah, I mean, I think on our end, we can bring, as Jack said, the resources. We can bring the platform. We can bring the iconic nature of Fenway Park. But I really give a nod to Jack, his team, and MGH. The clinical care, the innovation that's happening from a healthcare perspective, they're the ones that are constantly evolving and responding to the growing needs of our veterans and making sure that whatever they need, they're building it to respond to that, to make sure that we can, and I love the word that Julian used this word this morning, the elite care. And that's a great way to describe home base.
Jack, at the beginning of this, really a lot of it was just getting the message out that it's okay to come ask for help. It's grown into a far more wide-ranging system of elite care. But there is still that battle to get that other end of the equation, to get the men and women who are doing those hard things to come in and ask for help.
You know, it's interesting. We started a program for special operations team members for brain injury care. And when they first started coming through the program, every one of them to a man said, no, I don't have any mental health issues. Now, because they've seen so many of their brothers in arms get the care they need, they're asking for that up front. And when you see two great humble warriors like Brian and Julian come in for care and then talk about it afterwards, both these guys have endured great sacrifice and service for this nation, and having the care available, as Julian pointed out, in the equation on the back end. If the government's not going to do it, the private sector will, and that's what we're doing. We're honoring the promise.
Brian, every year, different sectors of the military are honored. What does it mean that today the Red Sox and home base are taking time to honor the black veterans and service members who have given so much to our country?
It's incredible. So I stand on the shoulders of giants, and it I've had such an incredible time in the Army. The experiences that I've had, the ability to lead men and women in combat has been unbelievable. And so I'm humbled. I'm excited about what home base is doing, and I can't wait to see where they go next.
Where do you go next, Jack?
Well, it's innovation, right? We keep looking at what the new best thing is, and we're working on capacity building out in Arizona, potentially Montana, the tribal lands of Navajo, Apache, and Hopi Nation to help build local capabilities, teach people so they can provide the care they need, and then continue to get better at the care we deliver and find the next best treatment, working with the folks at Harvard and Mass General to figure out what that is.
Becca, real quickly, the race is over, but what can people do to help?
Yeah, of course. If you're out there watching, you can always go to homebase.org, make a donation, directly supports the work that Homebase is doing. If you're in park today, find somebody in a bright green apron. They are 50-50 raffle sellers. We are sharing the proceeds, of course, with Homebase. The pot is over $25,000 right now. If you're at home, go to redsox.com/5050 to buy your ticket. You got to be over 18. You got to be in Massachusetts. But all the money comes into the Red Sox Foundation and Home Base, and you get to take home 50% of the proceeds.
It's a pretty good gig.
Pretty
We
good.
will see you out on the field. She just told me that you should stretch after running. You tell me that now. It would have been good to know that this morning, but that's, again, the story for another day. If I can make it down to the field, we'll be part of the pregame ceremony. Thank you all so much, Brian. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful family here in the studio as well. Nice to see them all. We will take a break, come back with more Getting Closer to First Pitch and the pregame ceremony with more on the home base and the run to home base coming up here on NESN.